they will turn it off later on by itself. I have to turn it on. Anyway, let me introduce the first of all my equipment that I use. Okay, now we start with paper. Okay, the papers that I use all kinds of papers, regardless of where they're made, but just first of all to understand what types of paper, what they're made from, and then what are they good for. The certain papers are good for certain subject, and it's for you to learn how to control them, not the other way around. And I use a paper from Japan, made from Japan, Taiwan, Korea, and China. The traditional, the paper made from the Chinese make a lot of paper, but the most usable papers are the rice paper. And the rice paper divided into good qualities. Even if you, I would be ashamed to say that, even you say that it's red star, it put it down, but sometimes it's not real. So be aware of that. They are fake, because those are much easier. And the only place that you buy real paper is the one in Hong Kong called
June.
And then you can trust them.
We've been there. We know them.
They are expensive, but
Yes.
you can trust them.
But you
don't
can
buy.
order online and they'll ship it too.
Yeah. And then there are other places in Hong Kong that sell, but I'm not familiar with. I have the address. So the rice papers now. Unless you request, we're not going to use any rice paper to paint. Okay. Now rice paper. You already know how difficult to control, but there's always another way to manage it. And even putting a wash on it is not difficult at all. You just do some little works, the extra ingredient, put it on the paper, then you can
It changes
wash
the
it.
paper.
Yes.
Do you use alum? Do you wash it with alum, or do you wash it with?
I have, there is a container there, there's alum.
Yes.
And I don't wash with alum. I wash alum. This is alum. Well, before we go that, go. There are papers made from alum. They're good for gongbi, and then there's another style we call
Dragonfly Wing.
It's actually the Lingnam style we call. There's a name for it, but the translation isn't that really that good. I'll show
What
you.
is it in Chinese?
Zhuangfen.
Juanfen. Oh, Juanfen.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and those are the style that they use on alum waters or alum paper, or they paint it on a fan like this. Okay, and that's just another type of technique. They my grand teachers do that a lot. Okay, and that's another style that by all this silk has been coated with alum water. Yeah, and in Japan they do have alum water for painting for sales in the store. Okay, but the Chinese don't make that. Okay, they come in the bottles like this.
You buy it as a.
In Japan.
You don't just buy the alum at the drugstore and make your own solution?
Oh, they're different.
Okay, it's different kind of
Oh
alum.
yes,
All
they're
right.
very different, big different.
Okay.
Yeah, those are specially made for painting. Those are just regular use.
Yes,
It's
yeah.
actually to,
Alum used.
yeah. And
So coat paper and then paint it?
You paint the paper with that special solution before you paint on it.
Before you do your painting?
Yes.
Okay.
now we call the Japanese ways of painting. It's actually very Orient, very Chinese, but they are much more like a gombi, step by step, and then
And
it
layer by
doesn't
layer.
require brush stroke or energy, the kinds of feeling. It just color.
Yeah, glaze the color,
Yeah,
glaze it.
those.
You do the outline, fill it in.
No, they don't do
Oh,
outline.
they don't do outline
No.
gombi?
No, the Japanese painting they don't do
They
outline.
only do shade style.
They make a sketch
Yeah.
on a piece of paper,
Uh-huh.
and then they put the papers on
On
top of it,
it.
and then they color it,
Yes.
layers by layers by layers. So
I think I need to get my notebook.
wait,
I'm gonna run upstairs and get that.
no matter what kinds of paper you going to use, you have to know what are they good for, how you control them. Okay, this is all you need to know about. This is actually from Korea that I use it.
Is it
And then
like a double schwen, or is it?
No,
It's
no.
heavier than
It's
double
heavy.
schwen.
It's not at all strand. It's
No.
made out. I don't know
Lot of
what they made
fiber.
out.
Is it cotton?
It's not cotton.
Not cotton, huh?
Don't know what it is.
No, but
It's
there's,
good.
But then
you
you
know
can
what?
see,
It's like dragon cloud, look, with all
there's a
that
lot of
fiber.
fiber.
It's a lot like dragon cloud,
Hello.
but heavier.
Yes.
Smooth on one side, rough on the other.
James. Hey, 你好。
It's like
Yeah.
a layer and a half almost, huh?
Well, it's
Sure,
not
sure,
quite
sure.
as thick. It's more than that,
You think
like 2.5.
Oh.
It's pretty heavy paper. That's heavier than double schwen.
And
I don't think so.
It's got a lot more fiber.
It's got a lot of
我
fiber.
现在在我自己的店
It looks like the
And a lot of-
Taiwanese, it almost looks like the Taiwanese paper I bought.
And it looks
Oh, really?
lot of clouds.
But,
Does it
but it
clouds?
doesn't have the fiber in it.
Clouds and fiber.
Yeah,
It's
Mm.
Korean paper?
Korean.
She did all this for me.
Yeah.
See?
She had the
She had the
connections.
I sell it for her. I don't sell supply.
Yeah.
Okay. Normally there was another way of making money, but this just not me.
But the import-export business is very difficult and the government has big fingers.
I know. So, the reason using Korean paper is for the subject. Something like if you want to apply background,
Yeah.
layers and layers.
That's
Those are
what I
thick
said.
enough for you to do that. And
Is this more like Zhenhou or Ma paper?
yes, I mean.
And you can scrub and you can work it and work it
Yeah,
and
but
work.
then it will come out with.
It will.
It will pill after a little while.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it will
Yeah.
pill.
So try not to
Be
brush
rough.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then they kind of dry. So applying colors and water or colors that you have to be extra paying attention. See, so
How
each
much
time that if you experiment, that you find out how much water you need to paint that kind of stroke or this type of stroke. All right, and then so other papers that from Japan is actually they make in Korea or they make in Taiwan, but they just make for the Japanese companies.
For their specifications.
They import it and they export it out, so they
No
too
wonder
much
it costs so much
money.
money.
Yes, They
Because the
actually
Ch-
make in China or make in Korea or Taiwan.
Okay.
Because at Mandarin Chun, I bought some Japanese paper and it was very expensive.
Yeah. And there's one called Machi that are
Yeah,
very expensive.
Very expensive.
Yeah, and I use that too.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Now they come with 4 feet, 5 and 6, or even longer.
Okay.
And another ways. Now I have a way to manage the papers, and then it's sort of a good for framing, good for presentation, and then you don't have to always mount it or make the frame for that particular painting. Have you standardized?
Yes.
So here is the size. So those are especially made for that oil painting frame. But I will do that into many size. Now
Okay, so
Okay. I will have you a
We-
photocopy.
I was gonna say.
I emailed it to
And
everybody.
then we can just print it.
Yeah.
It's in your emails.
And
It
then
is.
Oh, really?
It is. I emailed it to everybody.
Yeah.
His whole handout.
yeah, and then
Jeez,
and
guys.
and then for what we're gonna paint is we're gonna cut one piece of paper into six, and then you could you will replace the painting every time. You don't have to do another new frame.
Right, you just
Just
take it
change.
out.
Yeah. So standardize the paper size. So then it's easier to manage your work. Okay, and then come to brush.
And that's what you've
no.
done here. This is your standardized. Down
No,
here,
that's,
this-
that's
this
for,
No,
that's
this is
for
for-
this.
Oh, okay, all right. Because I was thinking, boy, that's clever. You just put your paper down and you know where your outlines are and you paint inside the lines.
No, it's for the television. It's for the.
Well,
for-
shoot, I like this idea better.
Yeah. A little closer to the edge, though.
So I know exactly where I'm going to paint.
Paint.
Otherwise, you're
Yeah.
out of focus or out of space. It's a focal point for the camera. I use brushes like most of you know. The Lingnan school use a lot of horsehair. Doesn't mean they don't know how to use any other type of brush. No, that's all totally wrong. And then I do hurt people. Oh, you guys do not know other brushes than your horsehair brush. Oh, that's really very insulting. But
Yes,
then
it is.
any types of hair, you are the one that control it. So you study how it works with you or works for you. Okay. Now, what I can introduce to you is there are this is wolf hair. Wolf hair like sable hair.
Yes.
Okay, they are good for any subject as well, but then horse hair is made out of horse tail.
Yes.
Okay, not any part of the body, just the tail that's stronger, like spring. You see. Now, the Taiwanese made today are much cheaper. But a set of 7 is nearly about 100 Canadian dollars, or 120 with the postage. Okay. From Hong Kong, Manlinjiang is also made from Taiwan, but I have a better place of making the horsehair brush. The place that he chose and the smaller size normally just use it 1 or 2 times and you just got to
Fall
throw it
apart.
away. Yeah.
Is this a shanma or just ma?
no shanma?
It's
Shanma
shanma.
is from horse tail.
Yes.
And then I will also
See, that's.
show you how to manage the horsehair without falling apart. Okay. Yeah, that's just
Oh.
yeah.
Okay,
This
that's
is a
worth
good
the
label.
trip.
Yeah. A lot of glue.
Yeah. You see, I have many brushes that are falling apart.
No, he's got a lot of dental floss on him.
Yeah. Now, use on wax.
Yeah.
Okay, you on wax. Now, when it's brand new, you wet it. Now, after they dry, and you, or even they're wet, you tight, really tight. Okay, and then squeeze into little space. Okay, so make it tighter.
So the
Okay,
hairs don't
squeeze.
fall out.
No, that's not the point yet. And then you use the epoxy glue. Okay, now you can see this. Let me show. So you watch it. You see, when you epoxy glue, you glue all the way to the edge of this, or sometimes I even cut it out, and then